one-timing it and putting it in the roof of the net. Okay? This is the dynamic of the game that is starting to change. Okay? And the kids, I'll be honest with you, the kids have a very good respect for each other. Okay? Even though they can play the ball above the shoulder. Okay? All right? So, that's something you're going to have to get used to. And the way that, you didn't bring a ball, did you?
No, I didn't bring a ball.
One of the ways that we try to get umpires to judge danger is, and it's in the rule book, about having true evasive action, which basically means I had to feel, even though the ball might not have hit me, I had to truly feel like I had to get out of the way of it. Not just fake to get out of the way to make it look dangerous. So you have that dynamic that umpires have to deal with. And again, perspective's going to be different for each person. But what we're teaching people is, what's your first name, young lady?
Mindy.
Mindy. If Mindy hit the ball on the ground and it went 1 foot outside my ankle and in the back of the net, we pretty much don't have a problem, right? Okay. Mindy hits it again and it goes knee height, 1 foot outside my knee into the back of the net. Do we have a problem? Okay. Mindy hits it waist height. Do we have a problem?
I don't think so.
Mindy hits it head height.
Oh.
Do we have a problem?
Did she not dodge it? As long as she didn't dodge it.
Okay. That's exactly what we're trying to teach, because your daughters, and I'll say the daughters since we're talking about high schools, okay? They practice this stuff ad nauseum. Okay? If your daughters practiced a well-versed penalty corner taker, okay? If I told her to put a ball on the ground right here, right now, and hit that fire alarm, okay, I would bet you 9 times out of 10 she might not hit it all those times, but she's going to get pretty close to it. Okay? So we have to give credit where credit's due. That if Mindy's there and I'm taking a shot, and Mindy can't react to it and doesn't, or she tries to play it out here and misses it, that the player who shot it was skilled enough to do that. And really, if Mindy has time to play it out here, is Mindy in danger? She's trying to play the ball. She's not in danger. But in the past, just like the free hits you were talking about earlier, people were just calling these things because they were being over conservative. And now it becomes even more difficult to understand when those things happen. But if a player truly has to get out of the way of it and an umpire calls danger, people understand that. Okay? But if I send that ball so fast that you don't even react to it, we have to get away from what we're trying to get people to get away from is calling those things, because if the situation were just a little bit different, it would have been dangerous. Okay? Because the kids practice too damn hard on some of this stuff. And these kids are practicing 7 days a week, 6 days a week, a lot of them. Okay? 2 to 3 hours a day. You guys go through it, I go through it. We don't have dinner in my house from September to November because of hockey. Okay? But, so, the danger factor, okay, is something that is very, very subjective.
The thing about the corners you're saying, well, they can take that shot like that.
Yep.
I noticed on indoor, she played a couple years indoor. They would put a mask on the defenders. I mean, they're allowed to take that same type of shot now in the out. Like I understand, like inside it was on a floor and it was a lot faster, but they're going to have a ball movement that can come out in like that height then.
Yes, that's
okay.
Well, on the flicks, but not unfortunately, the high school kids and playing on Hockessin Montessori, they can't do those drag flicks like they can in indoor because the ball, the stick sticks in those rubber pellets.
Okay.
If they can find a way to get it off, the answer is yes, they can do that, just like in indoor. Okay. But also keep in mind, outdoor you have a 16-yard circle.
Sure.
Versus a 9-yard circle. Okay. And yes, indoor seems to be much faster, and it is, a closer proximity.
Well, it seems like the colleges, like we've been to college games, all the college girls are wearing the face mask during the corners.
Are they allowed to wear them if we bought them for them?
Okay. Yeah. They have to wear the goggles, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I could go off on the goggles, but I won't. But if they choose to wear a face mask, okay, they have to wear the goggles over the face mask because the goggles are absolutely required by the rule book. The face mask is an additional piece of equipment that they will allow. But as soon as you put the goggles over top of that mask, both manufacturers
Or
Yeah.
will
weighted.
tell you
Perfect.
that they are not being used by the way that they were
Yeah, that's-
intended.
Right.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
not right.
Okay, you're right, it's not right.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's what happened when the NFHS decided to put goggles in, and that's why I would go off on the goggles.
That's only in high school, right? They got
Yeah.
They don't see it in college.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't see it at USA Field Hockey
Right.
because
Even
what
indoor.
it does, and this is where I'm sorry, and I hate beating up on the men when it comes to hockey, but we had a bunch of administrators in Indianapolis associated with the NFHS. The rules board for the NFHS, it's made up of coaches and umpires, okay, voted 9-0 to not have those goggles on. It went to the executive board, and a couple doctors and lawyers decided that they had to have it,
Oh wow.
okay, with no statistics.
Hmm.
There were no statistics of major eye injuries.
Right.
Every once in a while, just like any facial injury, you might get a cut here with a, you know,
Right.
or above the eye or whatever. But it's almost like nowadays, the example I use is kids now get braces a lot quicker than we ever did. So everybody wants everything perfect. And again, no disrespect to the dads, but when you have doctors and lawyers that are trying to protect daddy's little girl, these are the kind of things that happen when they're on those boards. They don't have a clue about the game. But what it's done is, even though the manufacturers have come out with these goggles to try to make them as easy as possible to look down, the kids, when you play hockey and you've played, and you correct, if I say anything here that's wrong, you let me know.
Melina played too.
Okay, well, let me know if anything's wrong. When you come in to tackle someone, they want you to have your body centered, upright somewhat, bend at the knees, get your stick down, keep everything in the center of your body, right? With these goggles, no matter what, no matter how they're, you know, they've cut out the bottoms of them so you can look down on. These kids are coming in like this. Concussions have gone up.
Wow.
This rules board told them your concussions are going to increase because you're going to have more head-to-head contact.
Yeah.
And you're having more back injuries and more knee injuries because you're rolling your spine now. Your center of gravity isn't on where it's supposed to be.
Right.
Okay? And people are getting knocked over and
Right, it's
twisted.
not stable.
Exactly. So the knees are going, okay? So, but nobody wants to admit that bringing in goggles added to other injuries.
Right.
So keep those statistics on it, okay? They had one, the last statistic I heard, there was one eye loss, and I mean eyeball loss,
Wow.
1 in 2 million reported incidents. Now, there's much more. Actually, they have more facial injuries in baseball and softball than we have in hockey. Because of impurities in the ground, you know, bad hops.
Right.
Okay? So, there's.
And they're
I
not wearing
know.
goggles.
But anyway,
Right.
so to answer your question, so we can, you know, I know somebody's gonna have to watch
Yeah.
the time.
It's okay.
Oh,
Even
yeah.
though this is a small
15.
group,
Yeah.
the
Now-
umpires that know me talking for an hour is almost impossible. It's like,
Can you talk a little bit about obstruction? They seem to call that less and less. I mean, those of us who played a long time,
Yeah.
I mean, obstruction is called all the time. So, like, I feel like I see it, but it's not. It's not called. It doesn't seem to be called. As
okay, well, come on up here.
All right.
Since you played.
time.
It's okay.
I'm
You still have
recording
people
this.
with me?
Yeah, I can still hit.
Okay.
hit a ball.
I'm recording this for our girls to.
Okay, good.
Oh,
So
goodness.
that's good. Just step back there. Okay, and just face me. Don't do
Okay.
anything at this point. Okay?
Okay.
If I have the ball, let me get the longer stick. This is a little fundamental field hockey stick that we had at home. I got like 3 million of them at home.
That's our collection. It's their pride collection.
Yeah, okay, okay. Just put your stick on the ground. Okay.
Okay.
If your phone is the ball, okay? All right. Now, we used to call obstruction when we used to be this distance apart and I would spin with the ball. Remember that?
Yep.
Okay. Then it got closer. Well, now it's even closer. And in the rules, it says a player is allowed to turn any way that they want to. Okay? And a lot of the reason you see players come in and turn around this way, okay, is because the kids are now block tackling, going down low
Yeah.
with a block tackle.
Yeah.
And going down on a block tackle is not considered playing the ball. They have to physically be trying to get to the ball. So what happens is, as I come in with the ball, okay, unless you are attempting to play the ball, at the time I spin in front of you, preventing you from playing the ball, we don't have obstruction.
Okay.
So if I get here before you play the ball, it is now incumbent on you
To play
to get
up.
around me. No,
No?
you cannot come up my
So
back.
that's still not obstruction.
Nope. You
I have
now-
to come around.
You now have to come around one way or the
Gotcha.
other. So what's happening is the kids are being taught in reverse. If you have the ball and now come spin in front of it, that they go down on this block tackle. Now the kids are waiting for them to make a move, and the kids are being taught. If she pulls to the right, you come here and take it away. If she pulls to the left, you go this way and take it away. Okay? So the kids are actually not coming through and playing the ball like they used to.
That's smart.
So the time, if you, as you can see, just back up a second where you were before. The time frame for obstruction is so small that it's really not obstruction unless I place my body between her and the ball. She's trying to play the ball and she's able to play the ball all at the same time. And that can only happen if this stick is coming down as I'm coming across. So the time frame is very small. So if I get here first, we're playing on. Now obviously if she gets in there first, she's going to get the ball and it's going to go in a different direction. Okay? And the kids are being taught to back up. So that's why you might start in close proximity and then this player backs up and you have somebody yelling obstruction because she couldn't have gotten to the ball. But the bottom line is she really didn't attempt to play it at the time I put my body in front of her. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does.
Can you imagine making that judgment? Okay, it's kind of crazy.
Right.
Okay?
Because you should just play up on him so you got the obstruction call.
But you used to do that. You can't do that anymore.
But you can't do it anymore.
It's almost
Why
like,
are they going for
in
ball?
a way,
Yeah,
it's
you
almost
go
like
for it,
basketball. If I get here first, okay, just like in basketball, you can't come through me to get the ball. Okay? We used to have the time, and I'm sure you did it as well, and I know people that have done it. When I got in this position, this player would be raising her hand or raising her stick saying, come on, I'm giving you obstruction. Well, we used to call it that way. But they've gotten it so defined now that, and with the speed of the game and everything, allowing the game to flow, those kind of things break down the game. Okay? So it's almost like obstruction doesn't exist, but it does, and it's in every rule book. Okay? Just the time frame is very small.
That's good. It makes the
Very
game
fine.
a lot more fun.
It does.
And a lot faster.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you this question. So we all know the 5-yard rule for hitting the ball, but when a girl self starts, does that 5 yards still like? It seems like they have like 2 yards. Okay, so they can still
It's
self start, and because they self started, it's free to anyone to be as
No.
close.
No.
Okay.
And this is, again, welcome to my world of umpire. Okay, your turn. Come on, Lenny, your turn.
Oh, you gotta record. This is
You're
not
not
gonna
allowed to
be
use my
good.
phone.
Come on.
No. Oh, jeez.
Come on.
Not good.
Come on.
I hurt my back a little bit, so you have to be.
I'll be gentle.
Gentle.
Don't worry, it's okay. Okay, so if I have the ball, now I'll give Melina the ball because that means I'll be the one that has to move. Okay, Melina has the ball. I come up and the umpire calls a stick interference,
Right.
something simple. And now Melina wants to take a self start or the free hit. The rule is still in place that the defense, or when it's inside the 23-meter line or 25-yard line, everyone has to be 5 meters.
Okay.
Okay, but so on the normal free hit, I would, if the ball went off and the ball was thrown back to you by a ball girl, I would have to be the 5 meters.
Okay.
Okay, everybody, that's pretty clear. That's pretty cut and dry,
Right.
right? Okay. But say that foul happens here, and
In the
then
field.
the ball happens to stay in this area, and Melina chooses to take a self-start. Okay? We do not want to slow the game up by making this person move back 5 yards before she can go. Okay? Because if you did that, umpires would be talking too much, players wouldn't pay attention to umpires, and you'd be having all kinds of problems. So the idea to allow the game to flow is let her go. But when that happens, she is given 100% free access to a halo, let's call it, 5 meters, 5 yards around where the free hit is taken. Okay? So if she chooses to go that way, I can shadow with her, but I cannot play her until the ball has gone at least 5 meters.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay?
Okay.
So if you choose to go that way, and I'm no coach, okay, but if she chose to go that way, and this player could feel the pressure of somebody shadowing, if I was a coach, I'd tell my player, pull it into them every time. Because I have to give her unrestricted
Well,
access.
you don't see that called.
I know
I
you
see it
don't.
all
I
the time
know you
because
don't.
I see a lot of teams. I think they're being coached go after that ball as soon as you
Well,
can.
yeah.
The umpire's not calling it because you get
Absolutely.
advantage for
And
it.
that's because the
Yep.
umpire's not calling it. But
Yep.
that's the rule is
Okay.
I have to give her unrestricted access for the first five yards.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay? And if I do anything in there to prevent her from getting the 5 yards away, then the foul is supposed to be on me. The only exception to that is if things happen so fast here that I'm not superhuman and can make myself invisible, if she chose to take the self-start and run it right into my feet, where I physically couldn't get out of the way. But if I'm back here and she chooses to come at me, I have to get out of the way. That's not her problem from there. It's only in this real close proximity that it could be a problem. Okay? Bottom line, the 5
The
rules.
time is now 7:31, and the library will be closing in 29
5
minutes.
minutes fast.
Please bring all selections to the circulation desk at this time.
Okay.
All meeting rooms and study rooms will close in 14 minutes.
Quiet.
Thank you.
So the bottom line is you're supposed to give them the 5 yards. And again, we were talking about judgments of umpires. She decides to take a self-start, and I go running with her. Am I truly just shadowing, not impacting the play? Am I trying to force her in a certain direction? Do I get my stick in there to slow her up? All decisions an umpire has to make. So sometime I might run along with her and we go no problem. The next time it appears I'm running with her and all of a sudden the umpire calls a penalty corner for somebody not being 5 yards away or gives the player a card for not being 5 yards away.
You see that in college game a lot, them shadowing, but not really.
Mhm.
But for us, you'll see them jab.
And once
Like
once
the-
they jab, they're in trouble. If you go that way, I'm allowed to have my stick on the ground as you're going that way.
Right.
That is not a problem. What I can't do is bring my stick in to force you back or bring my body in where we have contact or it looks like I'm trying to shove you back. We can't do that. Okay? But so the 5 yard rule is there, and that's again very subjective to the and you know, right there you have 4 or 5 decisions again that an umpire has to make in a very short period of time, and each one could have a huge impact on the game. And people, you know, talk about umpires being consistent, okay? And if you're a coach and 1 minute the umpire lets you go, and the next minute they call penalty corner, the coach or even a fan is yelling at the umpire for being inconsistent. But until you talk to the umpire and say, yeah, on the first one she just ran parallel, no problem, we let it go. The next one, she had her sticking on a 45-degree angle in front of where the girl was trying to play the ball, slowing her up. Well, now you have 2 different parameters, 2 different decisions. And that's why, in this short time we're trying to explain them, that's why we tell parents, enjoy your kids, and kind of let the umpires do what they have to do. But it's very difficult. But at least now you guys know that there is 5 meters, and you know the judgments that the umpires have to make, okay? And again, your perspective might be that the stick was in there. Maybe the umpires just wasn't. And you just have to go with that. But that is the 5, okay? And the thing, especially inside the 25-yard line, both teams have to be 5 yards away,
You're right.
okay? But if even the attack, if they're not influencing the same as the defender, then we can play on. Okay?
Now, what about aerial dribbling? What is the right way to gain possession of an aerial dribble?
Like as a
Like if they're
defense?
yeah.
Bottom line, we get this question all the time. What did I say here? Everything you can do on the ground, you can now do in the air, right? Tapping the ball,
Right.
playing it, whatever. Okay. So come on up. Get to be my pretend you're aerial dribbling, and let's just assume the ball's out here. Okay.
Right.
So let's assume it's out here near the head of her stick. If she's doing that, I'm allowed to steady block tackle. I'm allowed to tap the ball off of her stick. Okay?
Okay.
And I'm responsible for it.
Because
meaning-
they'll shadow them too. Like I've seen the girls kind
Yeah.
of just follow along.
Well,
And I'm like,
the defenders
do they
just-
have to wait for that ball to
No.
fall to
No.
play it?
No, absolutely not. And think about this. If you put your stick out there, okay, and you're aerial dribbling, and I'm trying to play it from here, my face is a good stick length away, right? Okay, put your stick on the ground. If I do a block tackle,
Right
Much
there.
closer.
Yep.
my face is that much closer. There's actually more problem with that than there is with this. But the bottom line is, and if your coach has still questions about it, she can call me. It's not a problem. But at the end of the day, you can do the same things in the air that you can do on the ground. Put your stick out, okay? I can block tackle. I can jab tackle. If I jab it and it goes into your shoulder, well, I created that,
Yeah.
not you.
Right.
But I can't come over top of her stick, and we can't do that on the ground. I can't come under her stick, we can't do that on the ground, right? So if I interfere with her, then that's on me.
What if you hit her stick though? Like just when
There-
you're trying
there-
to get the ball.
there could be, and again,
Just
it's
like
timing.
when-
It could-
I mean,
they're
okay,
moving, you know what I
okay,
mean? When they're
okay.
di-
All right, here's the
yeah.
bottom line. Say she's tapping, so you have stick movement.
Right.
Okay? So she taps it, I get the ball, and now she hits my stick.
Okay.
Okay? Or
gotcha.
I happen to take it right off her stick, and we do have some incidental contact. That stuff's okay.
Okay.
Okay? It's more the big interferences. But you can
Gotcha.
just see,
Yeah, like the intentional.
and here's what umpires have trouble with, is I take the ball off of her stick. Now her stick hits mine, and all we hear is a loud sound.
You're right.
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 Okay? And many people blame the defense for that when technically I got the ball first. She hit my stick, and the foul's supposed to be on her.
Uh-huh.
In a very close, tight, and think about it,
Quick.
that's what, 100th of a second?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay? And an umpire's got to make the decision as to whose stick hit what and in what timing it happened. And really, to be honest with you, the only two people that know for real, if they were going to be honest with you,
Are the two players.
are the two players.
Yeah.
Okay, when an umpire makes some of those decisions. But that's their job. Okay, but you can see, okay, so keep in mind that you can do whatever you can do on the ground, you can do in the air.
Wow.
Provided it's not dangerous. Now, Melina wouldn't be able to take that ball and just run it right into me. Just like if she's standing there, I don't get to run it right through her.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, same thing, whether it's up in the air or on the ground. Okay, I can't lift it into her head. I can't come to her and lift it into her head. Or where she has to take true evasive action.
Now, can you, like, let's say they're dribbling it, and then they go and they like whack
Whack
it.
it.
That's totally okay instead
If-
of like
if-
drop and
if
drive
you-
it.
Think about it.
Yeah, because it's
If,
like
if I'm out
flag.
here, and you do that, right? We don't have a problem, right? Okay, because you can literally do that same thing by putting that ball on the ground
Right.
and drive it.
Right.
Nobody's around you; it's not a problem.
Right.
If it gets into here where a follow through
Right.
could be dangerous, okay, and the proximity is too close, again, very subjective on an umpire's part, then it should be blown.
Now-
But it can't be, and that's where we get accused of being inconsistent because one time
Right.
it'll seem dangerous, the next time the umpire will let it go, and people just don't understand it. And I give your girls credit. It takes a lot of intelligence to play this game the way that these kids are playing it, with the knowledge of, I mean, they know exactly what's happening when it's happening, no matter what the umpire calls, okay? Very rarely do your kids look up to see what way the direction's going, because they know it, okay? So we got to give them credit for that, all right? And we give them credit for their skills and their respect for each other as well.
Now, I know, like, for us with the whole flicking and pushing it and flicking it over the person.
Mhm.
So the last game, one was okay, and then the next one, which looked like it would have been okay, wasn't okay. Is there a specific height over the girl and
Okay, was it
distance
okay.
between the girl who's flicking over the girl, and does it have to fall a certain distance behind the girl?
All right, okay. Was the,
Do I get to sit, or?
Go ahead, you can sit. Bottom line is, was the decision made while the ball was in flight here, or was it the decision made as the ball was coming down?
So we couldn't figure that out.
Okay.
It was at the Archmere game.
Okay,
At
bottom
the
line.
end?
At the
I
end.
thought it came down on a group of girls though. I thought it.
No,
Okay.
I don't know if there was anyone there.
And again, since we now can play the ball over the head, if Melina goes to throw it over my head and I put my stick up like this, even if I miss it, we're okay. It's not dangerous to anybody.
Right.
But these are the things that are different that you would never have seen last year. Okay? So say I missed the ball and it goes back here and you and Melina are on the pink team and I'm on the white team, okay? And Melina's throwing the ball to you and there's nobody around you. The rule is, if nobody's around you, that no player from the opposing team can come within 5 yards of you until you receive it, control it, and put it on the ground. That's a safety factor, okay? But what does happen is players throw the ball and the pink and white team are way too close to each other, so in the umpire's mind, there's not a clear receiver. If there's not a clear receiver, the team that put it up is responsible.
Okay.
And we take the free hit down here where the danger occurred because we had 2 opposing players. Okay?
Okay.
So you have those 2 scenarios. Now the third scenario is Mindy?
Yep.
Right? Okay. Melina's throwing the ball to Mindy, and I happen to be 3 meters away. There's nothing in the rule that says I have to get 5. It says I can't encroach the 5. So if I happen to be here, and again, I'm not superhuman, I can't get out, okay? And it's obvious to the umpire that Mindy's going to get the ball. If I stand here and do nothing until Mindy collects the ball, puts it on the ground, and controls it, we can play on. But if she's trying to do all that, or as the ball's coming down to Mindy, I step in any further, then it's on me. So basically, she threw the ball to her, and we're going to give them the ball. The previous one, where there was no clear receiver, she threw the ball, tried to throw the ball to her. There wasn't a clear receiver, so we get it.
Okay.
And the one where she's wide open, she gets anyway.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Try to make that as clear cut, okay?
That's fair. Yeah.
But as long as this player doesn't come in, we can play on.
So you have to have a receiver or target when you throw a high ball.
That's the best way to do it, because
Okay.
what's happening is players are being taught to throw into space and have players run on it.
Right.
But the parameters, just because the ball goes into open space doesn't mean the parameters are off.
Yeah.
Because if Melina throws the ball, and say Mindy and I are 10 yards apart, and the ball bounces up there, and Mindy and I are going 50-50 at this, we do not want to wait to pick up the pieces. She is still responsible because she's the one that threw it, and there's no clear receiver. Now, if the ball bounces there and Mindy's still the clear receiver, or it looks like it's going right to her, then the rules still apply. I can't get her until she gets it and gets it on the ground.
Okay, so when you throw the ball to a receiver, she has clear right away until she controls the ball.
If it's deemed by the umpire that she is the clear receiver.
Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that is
Yep.
correct. That is correct. Okay? All right.
Okay, good.
Now, I know I probably didn't answer all your questions, but I saw him turn some lights out in there.
Yeah,
so
it
we
was
probably
good.
Yeah,
keep
it's-
going.